In this video, I'm going to show you how to create awesome looking pins using Canva. Pinterest is a very visual social medium, so it's so important to have really good, nice looking pins that people are going to be drawn to and that they're going to want to repin. So I'm going to show you how to make a simple template, how to brand your pins, and how to save time when you need to make future pins. So the things you need before you get started is you're going to need a Canva account. Also, the font styles that you use in your blog, as well as the hex color codes that you use on your blog. You also need to have a pic uploaded to your hard drive. So here we are on Canva, and you'll notice right away that Canva already has preset sizes for all the social mediums there. So you don't have to remember what the sizes that you need, which is awesome. So we're just going to pick this Pinterest graphic right here, and you'll notice that it's a 735 by 1102 pixel. If you're a food blogger, a fashion blogger, maybe a DIY, and you want to use a longer pin because you want to put two pictures on top of each other with a bar of print in the middle, you can use this infographic over here, and it's 800 by 2000. Today we're just going to use this Pinterest graphic, so we just click on that and it's going to bring up our design page. So right away you're going to notice that here's a big empty spot. This is where we're going to be designing, and this is our toolbar down here down the left hand side. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to upload the pic that we're going to use on our pin. So we click on the word uploads, and up here, upload your own images, and you click on that. It's going to bring up your pic library, and you just scroll through and choose the pic that you want to download and click open. And once you do that, it's going to drop your picture down here in this area down here. And the nice thing is that Canva saves all of the pics that you've uploaded here. And that way, if you were going to make a Facebook and a Twitter pic as well, the picture's already uploaded for you here. You don't have to do it again. So this is the pic we're going to use today. So I just click on that and it moves it right over onto our workspace. Now you notice it's not big enough. You still see a lot of white space. So we're just going to stretch out our pic a little bit. Just be careful that you don't do this a lot, because it can really pixelate your picture. So if you are stretching it well beyond these boundaries, then you know your pic is much too small and you're going to have to upload another picture. But we're just going to use this one today. So now we have our picture on there, and you can move it around if you like. And we're just going to use it there like that. And now we're just going to put a simple bar with some text across our picture. So going down our left hand side here, we're going to click on elements, and we click on shapes. But you can notice that there's other things you can use. You can use grids, frames, lines. There's preset photos in here and icons, but we're going to use shapes today. So it comes up with a whole bunch of shapes. These solid ones are going to give you a solid color, whereas the ones with the outline, I'm just going to click on that one for a second. You'll notice it only gives you that outline on the picture. And anytime you don't like one of the elements, you can just hit the trash can and knock it out of there. So for this one, we're just going to use this square one because we're going to want to make a bar. Obviously that's too big, so we're just going to shrink it down a little bit, lengthen out the sides just a touch, and move it down just a little bit. And you'll notice the great thing about Canva, it always tells you when you have things centered. It drops that nice dotted center line for you. So this may not be the color that you want to use. So if you click on the circle with the color on it, it's going to come up with 6 preset colors. So you can use one of those. But again, we've been talking about branding your pics to make them look consistent with your blog, and this is why I had you write down your color codes. So You can match this to the picture. You can also match it to the branding on your blog. So if you click on the plus sign, it's going to bring up the color wheel. It gives you an opportunity to click down here where the color code is, and you can add in the hex codes that you have from your blog right in there. But for now, we're just going to use the white version, and obviously that's really dark, and we want to just lighten it up a bit. So if we touch this arrow down right here and click on transparency, it's going to bring up this bar, and we can lighten it or darken it as much as we want. So let's just say we're good with it right there. So now we have our bar and our pick. Actually, I'm going to just raise it up a little bit because we're going to want a watermark underneath here. And just quickly before we move on, if you were working on something really detailed or the writing really small, down here on the left-hand side, you'll notice that it says we're working with the picture at 40%. You can enlarge it so that you can work with it easier. But Canva always makes the size so that you can see the complete picture that you're working on. So now we're just going to add text. So going down this left-hand side, we're going to click on the word text. It really doesn't matter which one of these that you choose because you can adjust the size and the font. So we're just going to click on this top one, and it's going to put add heading over here. And we're going to write create a pin using Canva. I'm just going to change again, clicking on the color wheel to white just so we can see it. But once I move it down in my square, I'm thinking I would like it in black. So we're just going to change that to black. Now this is where you can use your fonts from your blog. Again, click on the arrows up and down on the fonts, and you can slide through all of your fonts until you find the one that comes from your blog. And this is another way that you are branding your blog and your pins to be consistent. So now you're looking at it there and you're thinking, okay, I want the wording a little bit larger. So we're just going to click the size. Oh, too big. And let's see if we can slide that to make that fit. Just making it extra big so you can see what I'm doing. Again, you'll see the dot dot when you're lining it centered. So because we have two lines and I might want to use a little bit less space in between here, I hit the arrow down key. There's a whole bunch of things in here. You can make it bold, italic, uppercase, left, center, right-handed. But we're going to click on text spacing, and this line height, we're just going to tighten that up just a little bit so it's not so far apart, and adjust how it fits. So now as well, don't forget we want to add our watermark. We want to add our URL on the bottom there. So again, we're going to click on text over here again. I'm going to write pintercourse.com. I'm going to change the color to white. I'm just going to bring it down here. Obviously, that's much too large. So we're just going to make it a little smaller then and move it into the corner. And again, we can click on this arrow down and we can adjust the transparency if we think that it's just a little bit too harsh. I'm just going to dial back the transparency on that a bit. And there we have our created pin. Before we save it to our hard drive, we're going to want to go up here and check the name that it's going to be saving it to our hard drive as. Because remember, we want to make sure that our pins are in our pics that are being saved on our blogs have keywords in it. So you can click on the name if you don't like the name that's up there. You can backspace and put in a new title, and this is what it's going to be saved as on your hard drive. So we hit done, and now all we have to do is click download, and we're going to download the image for the web. So right now it's saving it to our hard drive on our computers. So now I'm going to show you how easy it is when it comes time to create a new pin for a new post. Here's the pin that we just created. Remember, we used our fonts, we used the colors that we have off of our blog so that we're keeping our pins consistent and branded with our blog. If we go back to the main page on Canva, you'll notice that it has saved our pin that we had made. So if we click on that, we bring it up again. This is when we're making a new one. So right now, all we have to do really is change out the background pic, change out the title on the post. So we bring up the pic by clicking on it. We're going to hit trash can just to get rid of it. We're going to go back to uploads. We're going to upload a new image to add. And you can just click on it and add, and it's going to put it in your library, but I'm just going to use one of my other existing ones. And we stretch it out, center it to make it fit. If it's not coming up in the background, you can change whatever elements forward and back right down here. And also there's a keen filter feature here. If they didn't quite fit your branding, you can fool around with some of the filters that they have over here to change what your pic looks like. But we're just going to keep it like that. So all we have to do now is click on the title. We're going to backspace through that. And oops. Create a new pin for a new post. There it is. And just before we save it again, we got to go up here, make sure that our title is the title that we want it to be saved on our hard drive, because that's the file name it's going to use to save to your blog. So remember, your keywords are in there. Once you're happy with that, you can click download and download that to your hard drive and add it to your blog post or on the back end of Pinterest. So just quickly before we go, I'm just going to show you that. Remember, we were talking about those super long pins called the infographic. So I've got it pulled up here. This is what it comes up as an empty square. And what we want to do is we want to add the element. Instead of us having to figure out and make sure that our sizes are even, you can click on grids here under elements, and it's going to show you all the different ways that you can add different pics onto this picture here. But we're just going to choose the one that does two equal, one on top of each other. You go back to your uploads and you click on the pic that you want, decide whether you want it on the top or bottom. And once you drag it there, Canva's going to make it fit. And I'm just going to, for this demonstration, use two of the same. So there you go. There's your two pics on your picture. You click over to elements. And we're going to click on shapes. And this time we're just going to have this nice border sitting here just to cover up that white line. And you follow through with the rest of the instructions of what we did for the other pictures. So that's how you create your pins using Canva.